What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I got some stuff for the bike here. We got some oil. This is a little air filter slash intake for the KP 150, and then this is a catch can I bought. This is just like a catch can for a car. But yeah, so it's got hoses. This is the catch can. More hoses, more fittings, a bolt and stuff to mount it somewhere. This is the nifty filter with a little 45 pipe on it. We'll get this mounted on there, and then we're going to do an oil change as well because it's still got the factory oil in it, and I don't know what kind of oil it actually is, so I want to get some good oil. So in order to get this started up, we're going to pop the key in the back here and unlock the seat. So we get the seat off, and then once we release the seat, we're now going to pop these fairings off. All you have to do is take out this bolt right here, and then there's just a little pop thing there and a little pop thing there. So we just got to get a 5mm Allen to pop out these bottom bolts on both sides. Let the fairing off. We'll set it over here to the side. Let's get the other side. Pop this fairing off. Delicate, not scratch it up. Pull this off, set it over here to the side with this one. Now you're going to need an 8mm. You're going to take the bolts off of the gearbox. You want to also crack the carburetor hose loose. And there's a couple evap fittings you have to take off, which I already did, which are these ones. And then there's one on the bottom that goes down underneath. That's already off as well. Let's get our wrench in here. And try not to lose your hardware in case you want to set it back to stock at any point. There's two on this side, and then there's one on this side. Of course I dropped that one. Now we got all that off, we're going to set it over here to the side. And now, I already loosened this, so we'll just pop that off. And then the whole airbox assembly will come out the left-hand side. Just kind of work it out. There's a harness right here that you gotta kind of push up under to get this thing out from under it. There you go. And that's how you get your airbox off. So after looking around, trying to mess with this a bit, the filter kind of goes on like that, but it wants to rub the fairing that goes on over this. Let me get this clamp tightened down real quick. So now that we got the filter on, once you push this on, oh, well, I guess it clears better now that I adjusted it. Before it wasn't clearing at all, but it seems to be clearing good now. So it's good. It's got perfect cutout still, like the factory cutout. I was thinking about taking this piece off, but I'm just going to leave it all together. I kind of like it to look still somewhat stock. Now I'm going to mess around on the other side and see where I want to mount the catch can at. Alright, so what I've done is I've actually just took an 11/16 wrench and I flipped around these fittings so they face the other way, like this. And now I'm going to mount it up inside here to this hole. And I'm just going to ream this hole out so that this bolt fits in there. It's slightly too big, so I'm just going to open it up a little bit so this bolt fits in, and I'll just use this bolt and have it mounted up inside like that. You won't even be able to see it. It'll be hidden pretty well out of the way and have a nice catch can. Alright, so this is actually turning out to be way easier than I thought it'd be. So we got the bolt reamed out, or the hole reamed out, just enough that this still fits on there. It's nice and snug on there, tight. It's not interfering with anything. It's got plenty of clearance around the shock down there. Come around the other side. It actually clears pretty much everything really well. and I could still even take it off without having to dismount everything. So that's good. I don't need to take it off, so I'm going to leave it on. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but make sure you get it tight. Now, if you had the big nibby intake, this probably wouldn't work for you. It might clear over there. This is kind of tight right there. So I don't know if the long nibby intake will work, because I think the long nibby intake puts the filter somewhere in this area. This is it goes down to the crank right here, crankcase. This is EPA here. I assume it's an emissions thing, so it burns off the residual. I'm gonna leave the vent tube that goes down to the ground on this little fitting here, because I don't know. Sorry, the light's really bad right there. I don't know if this piece is a check valve or not, so I'd like to keep it on there. But I'm going to take this hose off and put my own hose on here and run it up to this section here. So the kit actually came with these union pipes. Sorry if it's not focusing. Which I just put one of the union pipes in the middle of here and hooked the hose up to the factory pipe or hose. That way I don't lose this piece. I could just throw it in the airbox and save it if I ever need to put it back on. Now I'm going to cut the hose and I'm running it to the backside. And then rather than just leaving this open, I think I'm actually going to just put a hose and run it back down like the way the original hose with the clear. When you take the intake off, you'll see what I mean, but there's a clear hose that runs to the bottom of the intake box that goes down underneath, and it just kind of drains right out at the bottom of the bike. So that's what I'm going to do, just so I don't have this open pipe sitting here. It'll look a little cleaner. Alright, so I put the original hose on. Goes here. There's no clamps needed for this, because it's not like serious pressure, so you don't have to worry about it blowing off. But it does come with these nice little fittings that make the ends look really clean. And just looks a little bit better in my opinion. So, we got the fittings, or we got the hoses all done. I ran the original one, or the one down where the original location was, on the factory setup. Now we got a catch can to catch any oil in our crankcase that would go originally into the intake. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. Also, I don't think we really added any extra weight, because this is probably about the same amount of weight as the original factory airbox. Maybe a little more, but at least it looks good. And the red kind of goes with the theme of the bike. Alright, let's start her up. Make sure everything's good still. Don't worry, I got the door open. So I don't die of fumes. I think I'm pretty happy with that. It came out pretty good. Now I'm going to do a quick oil change on it. We should be ready to ride. I'm just kind of looking at the oil in there, and man, does that stuff look gross. So let's get that drained out of there, because that looks terrible. Oh yeah, that's some pretty gross oil. It is braking oil, so can't be too mad. Shoes are making funny sounds on the floor. Alright, good and tight. Back together. Now to fill her up. Pull the oil cap off here. We're Replace the oil and clean the screen per 300 kilometers. Huh. So it's just under a liter for the oil change on this, and this is just under a liter. So I'm going to fill it up to about almost empty. Check it, and then we'll see. For anybody wondering, I'm not cleaning the screen out because it's like I literally just got the bike. It's still brand new. I just wanted to get the factory oil out of it. The screen, though, if you're wondering, you have to pull off the side of this case here. So you pull all these bolts out of the case. Case just slides off. There's a giant gasket that goes all the way around, and then the screen sits down underneath here. It just kind of slides in. You just pull it out, clean it out, put it back in. I'm just going to do that on my next oil change. I don't think I'm going to worry about it now. If I kill the motorcycle, you guys can laugh at me then, but I don't really want to deal with all that right now. Plus, I didn't buy an extra gasket to do that. Wouldn't be a proper video if I didn't show you at least me pouring some oil in there, right? Alright, so yeah, there's just barely any left. Side there. Let's get my light over here now. And we'll lean the bike over and see where my oil's at. That's about straight. Yeah, I'd say it's oil level's good. So we'll throw the cap on it and fire her up. I think I actually kind of like the way it looks without the fairings on the side there. Call me weird. I think it looks pretty good, so I'm going to keep the fairings off and see how I like it for a while. Maybe I'll put them back on. I took the rubbers out so that they don't fly out while I'm going down the road. But I don't know, I think it looks pretty good without the fairings. Alright, just a little update real quick. So I pulled this T-fitting out that's on this EPA little thing that comes straight off the crankcase. This line that goes up that I thought it went to the fuel tank, I thought it was like a breather or something for the tank, but it's not. It's actually just a breather to the top of the cylinder head. So what I did was I hooked it into this T-fitting that the bike came stock with. I took this apart. There's no valve in there. There's like a little particulate filter, but that's it. And this was just draining oil out the bottom of the bike into this hose. You can actually see the oil that was starting to build up inside there. Sorry it's not focusing, but so what I did was I took that hose off. I hooked the crankcase from the valve train and the crankcase from the lower crankshaft area. Hooked it into the T, and then I run this into my catch can, and this drains right out underneath the bike down at the bottom there. So this is really just air. There's baffles inside of this that catch all the oil to let the oil drain down to the bottom, and it fills up this chamber. You can actually put a fitting on the bottom if you want with a valve, so you can just drain the oil out the bottom of this catch can instead of having taken the entire can off. And it just unthreads and spins off the bottom. But that's what I did. I could probably shorten one of these hoses because this sticks out kind of further than I like it to. But that's how you do the catch can on one of these. Not too bad at all. It's pretty simple actually. I'm going to end the video there. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Also smash that subscribe button for future videos on this. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the Yoshimura exhaust on it. Get my fabricator.